Well, good afternoon and welcome to my 2021 State of the City address. This year things are a bit different. While I wish you could all be here with me, we find ourselves in unprecedented times that require innovation and resilience. This year I've made a video to share with you about the work we've done at the city in 2020 and show you a path forward. The city is moving forward with confidence and resolve as we continue to support your needs and meet your expectations of service. This video will take you through the work being done across the city, from what we're doing to support businesses, show the public safety team that has supported us at every step, and explain our current financial picture, and so much more. It's impossible to fit everything we do here at the city in my State of the City address. This is because we have 244 hardworking employees devoting their time and energy to the quality of life for every citizen of Anacortes. I will highlight some of the major accomplishments and some of the goals and projects that we're committed to in 2021. If you find your interest piqued and you want to learn more, my staff and I are eager and willing to talk with you. Thank you for being here with me today, and let's get started. It's my fiscal responsibility to continually evaluate the city's revenue and expenditures with a view of maintaining a strong financial position while providing quality municipal services. The Finance Department creates the city's annual budget, the capital facilities plans, and the monthly reports, which are reviewed with the mayor and with the council on a quarterly basis. They act as the city's auditing agent, ensuring legal and budget compliance with all expenditures. 2020 was an unprecedented year. The public health crisis caused an economic recession, affected residents, families, businesses, and the city. In 2020, we were able to act quickly to coordinate the implementation of a $1.6 million budget amendment to reduce expenditures to meet the revenue impact of this public health crisis. We were able to get grants from federal and private sources to help support city services, residents, and local businesses. Online shopping exceeded historical norms, and the construction sector remained active. Revenues picked up towards the end of the year, and overall, the city ended the year in a good fiscal position. To react to the financial impacts of COVID-19, the city implemented a hiring freeze on positions funded by governmental funds, suspended non-essential equipment purchases unless funded by grants and other utility fund resources, and tracked down COVID-related spending and staff time. By mid-year 2020, COVID-19 related grants were awarded. The CARES Act allocated $720,000 to the city for COVID-19 related expenses. FEMA allocated $100,000 for emergency medical related COVID impacts. And over $100,000 was awarded through the Community Development Grant for local businesses relief, including the Small Business Stabilization Grant. An anonymous donor also gave $100,000 for small business relief. The total COVID-19 related grants the city received was $1,099,372. Overall, when all the city's major tax revenue streams of sales, property tax, and utility taxes were considered, we ended the 2020 on budget. The sales tax budgeted revenue for fiscal year 2020 was $4,950,353. The actual revenue receipts for 2020 were $4,787,068. This was a 3.3% less than budgeted, which is a far better result than originally expected. The highest category for sales tax revenue included online shopping platform for retailers, boat sales, car sales, new single-family housing construction, and commercial construction. Property tax for fiscal year 2020 was budgeted at $5.2 million and are meeting expectations. Property tax has not been materially affected by the COVID-19 public health crisis. Our utility tax is a tax paid on both private utilities, such as electricity and natural gas, as well as public utilities, such as water and sewer. For 2020, the overall utility tax collections are exceeding expectations. The Finance Department oversaw the city's completion of our capital facilities plan, which documents the city's existing infrastructure, assets, and identifies our future capital needs. A project must be included in the capital facilities plan to be paid for with impact fees or real estate excise tax. It covers 9 departments' capital needs from 2021 to 2026 and totals $147,300,410 for a 6-year planning period. Major projects over the next 6 years include the raw water line, a new outfall project, and the South Commercial Avenue Corridor Plan. We are committed to evaluating the capital facilities plan and ensuring realistic capital with focus on fiber and the fire department. It is my priority to maintain a strong financial position for the city. Early in my administration, we adopted a fiscal policy that puts on the books a rainy day cash reserve fund in the general fund. For the fiscal year 2020, the reserve stands at $5.4 million and is available to support general operations. Other operating funds that have their own reserves as well, such as the utility funds, have a rainy day reserve that represents 10% of the fund's annual expenditure and exceeds $2.2 million for 2020. Additionally, the equipment rental fund has over $7.6 million set aside for future equipment replacement. In 2020, we also issued a $25 million 20-year bond at less than 3% interest costs, and this was for a new raw water line and a clear well to be built at the water treatment plant. And the city paid off nearly $15 million in debt in the water utility from the 2010 bond that was issued for the new water treatment plant. The advance payoff was from the prepayment of the debt from the refineries for their share in the cost of building the water treatment plant. Looking ahead to 2021, the city's budget looked a bit different than previous years. Perhaps the most significant change in the 2021 budget is that transition from a biennial budget to an annual budget, which will allow us to concentrate on short-term economic indicators and be nimble in our response to uncertainty of the current economic condition. The total city budget adopted December 21st of 2020 totaled $75,418,398. From the budget, $38,294,821 is budgeted for all governmental activities, and $34,946,147 is budgeted for the city's 4 utilities. Another change is the property tax revenue is shifted to the general fund, so the funds can be administered to ensure adequate resources are available to support our essential services. Here at the city, we will continue to show our unwavering commitment to serving each resident to the highest standard and protecting the strong fiscal position of the city. We commit to providing our frontline public safety professionals with resources and tools they need and continuously maintaining and improving our public infrastructure and facilities. Now more than ever, we face challenges as we recover from a devastating public health crisis. I could not be prouder of the city's response to this crisis. As your mayor, I commit to making strategic decisions that will support sustainability, technological progress, and preserve the quality of life that is hallmark of Anacortes. The Building, Planning, and Economic Development departments support the community by managing code-compliant investigation, current use of planning development, and performing building inspections. They also review regulations for residential and commercial projects, and they do long-range planning that supports our economic development in Anacortes. The building and planning team stepped up with a smooth transition to work remotely, and we're so successful that we issued twice as many single-family permits and single-family alteration permits in March of 2020 versus March of 2019. All permits include land use permits, are now processed digitally, and once ready are paid for online. Overall, in 2020, we issued 54 single-family residential permits compared to 49 in 2019, and that is for building a new home. We also issued 166 single-family residential alterations, like you're going to put a deck on, compared to 148 in 2019. Our total permits issued were 756 compared to 738 in 2019. A focus of this department in 2020 was supporting our local businesses. The Small Business Stabilization Grant application process was developed by staff and has been used by other entities as far away as small cities in Florida. We used $160,000 of community block grant funds for 14 businesses. Additionally, the city received $99,000 from the Skagit Community Foundation and another $2,500 from our local Rotary. This was distributed to 18 local businesses. In total, we have provided $261,500 to support small businesses as they navigate this COVID-19 pandemic. We also have just recently received an additional $100,000 in funding, which we will soon provide to other small businesses. The building department staff and other city staff placed 11 parklets on the street in front of our restaurants to expand their seating during this COVID-19 restrictions. City staff also participated in placing and the hanging of our flower baskets and watering them and placing wreaths and working on placement of tree lights to help celebrate our community and showcase our vibrant holiday spirit. Staff also worked in partnership with the Anacortes Family Center to distribute $57,890 in community development block grant funding for rental assistance for up to 3 months back rent for 15 families. In 2021, we will continue to implement our Maritime Strategic Plan and support the rich history and maritime innovation in our community. Our maritime industry provides essential industry on the Sailor Sea, cutting-edge technology as we rebuild the aging seafaring vessels, and we provide family wage jobs. Our coordination at the state level with the port, EDASC, and the Chamber is top in my priority as we support that industry. In 2021, it's a priority for us to assist local businesses during their economic recovery as a result of the recent pandemic and brainstorm new ideas to help businesses recover as quickly as possible. We're doing this in coordination with EDASC and the Chamber of Commerce. The team continues to get the work done in 2021 to engage the public, work with our state and local agencies and stakeholders to complete the adoption of the Critical Areas Update and our Shoreline Master Program. And they're also going to complete the adoption of the Anacortes Community Forest Lands Comprehensive Plan in coordination with the Parks Department and complete a review of the R4 bonus height provision through a public process and amendment adoptions as needed. Anacortes Fiber Internet is being built to support quality of life and economic viability. Widely available broadband access supports job searches, online learning, telemedicine, and remote employment. It provides a building block for creative, innovative economy while establishing the platform for business development and expansion. We've accomplished a lot over the last year, and we today have 553 customers in service. Staff are committed to exceeding customers' expectations. We are building out the west end of the island this year, and we're in the final stages of a grant application that would augment service extension from A Avenue eastward along the city limits, which will become our 2022 expansion area. By the end of 2021, we project revenues will offset operational expenses. Our daily lives are now driven by technology from work and how we meet and talk with medical providers, how we obtain education for our children and ourselves, and in the way we safely stay connected with our friends and our family. Building a fiber infrastructure in our community will position Anacortes to move toward an increasingly digital future. Public safety is the highest priority for the city of Anacortes. And every year when the council and I work on the budget, we talk about our highest priorities, and it's always public safety. And the police department is critical in that role of overall improvement of quality of life for the city of Anacortes through reducing danger from criminal activity and just overall community well-being. By identifying those most in need, helping and providing assistance, and working with our partners, with partnerships in the community to achieve common goals. So, Chief, it's always so good to be with you.
Thank you, Mayor.
So, and Chief Small, you've been with the department for over 27 years.
Correct.
And I commend your leadership, and especially this last year. So how did COVID-19 affect the APD?
I always like to answer that question by telling people that it didn't affect us that much because we can't allow it to. We still have to respond to calls and take care of our community. So other than having to wear these great masks all the time, you know, and put gloves on a little more often though too, it really didn't affect us that much in terms of our service delivered to the community though. We responded to over 8,200 calls for service last year. And again, we have more personal protective equipment we have to wear now in the course of our job. But we did get some really neat equipment last year, though, some technology improvements in our fire department, though. We purchased a fingerprint scanning machine and also a drug test machine. We're also going to introduce you to T-Bone here shortly, too, hopefully.
T-Bone, tell me about T-Bone for a moment.
T-Bone is our narcotics detection dog. He teams with Officer Hatcher to go out in the field and look for drugs. Whether it's vehicle searches, house searches, works with the drug task force periodically too for their needs.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. So you've been through COVID and you continued on and did everything the community needed. So what are your priorities for 2021?
I think our biggest priority for this year is going to achieve full staffing. We currently have 3 vacancies for our patrol officer positions, and we have hired a new officer here on Monday. We have another new officer starting this coming Monday, so we have one more vacancy to fill. We also have a records vacancy position to fill though too, and hope to get that done later on this spring. So full staffing is the #1 priority.
Yeah. And then one of the things that I really have always appreciated about this department and been very proud of is the level of training, the expertise. You have a quality police department that is well trained and cares about the community. So can you talk to me about some of the training that is required of your officers?
Sure. I think one of the most important trainings coming up this particular year is state mandated patrol tactics, also known as de-escalation training. Our officers are required to have 24 hours of training this next year. We also have 2 officers going to become trainers for that training. And that's an 80-hour class they get to do to become trainers for those skills. So again, de-escalation techniques are always huge for our department though too. How we better communicate with people, how we can calm people down hopefully, people in crisis though, so that's big.
So during the budget cycle this year, the community was very involved, and one of the things we talked about was the unmet needs of the more vulnerable people in our community. And so how have you this year and going into 2021, how have you met some of those needs? And through the budget allocations. I know we gave you some funding to move forward in 21. Can you talk about what you've done and what you plan on doing in that regard?
Sure. I'm going to start with a story, I think, first of all, from last year.
I love a good story. Thanks.
So we had 3 gentlemen in town. We have a long time, coming to Anacortes here, ties to Anacortes. And all 3 of these gentlemen live in their vehicles on the streets of Anacortes. And they generated many, many calls for service for us, in terms of vagrancy and littering, those types of things, though. We were able to partner with our Parks Department and the Anacortes Family Center to get services for these gentlemen. We were able to move them out to Washington Park temporarily with some funding from the Anacortes Family Center. And I think the real cool part of the story is that one of the gentlemen has a job now. Another gentleman's getting some treatment help, though, for his addiction issues, so they're both moving forward in life. And again, that's just a great story. And that sort of rolls us into our funding for our social worker program that was so, I think, publicly, commented on this last year, though, too. So we want to continue to work with our local partners, the Anacortes Family Center, our Parks Department, and our community leaders to provide better services and more services for people who are in need, especially the homeless people and people who have addiction needs or mental health needs.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that. I'm so encouraged by that, and I think we have some incredible people in our community that want to assist the police department and taking care of those people that need those additional services. Well, I want to thank you, Chief, with your leadership and everything that your department does in enforcing the law and serving the public and maintaining peace and order and protecting life and property, protection from crime, and conduction of investigation. I mean, you have detectives here in this department, and I know you do spend a lot of time on those issues. But I think most importantly, you maintain a quality of life that I think all of us take for granted. I think the reason Anacortes has the quality of life it has is because you've provided that safety net around us and that support that day-to-day people aren't even aware that your protection really adds that extra layer that makes living in Anacortes so incredible. So thank you for being steady and being consistent during these COVID times. And thank you for thinking about doing things in a new way. And especially, thank you for the birthday parade drive-bys for the kids that were not able to have their usual parties due to COVID. I saw many pictures of several police vehicles and fire engines going down the street with their sirens on. And I'm thinking about a young child to have that go by your front door on your birthday. So, quality of life, making a difference.
Exactly.
Thank you, Chief.
You're very welcome, Mayor.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so thankful for the department and all the officers and support staff that work here.
Thank you. It's our privilege.
Our Anacortes Fire Department has been on the front lines of the corona pandemic. They have prevented and responded to emergency situations professionally and with integrity. The city supports our public safety departments and remains committed to providing our staff with the tools and resources needed to keep our community safe. In 2020, there were 4,791 medical response calls and 754 calls for fire response. Implementation of a new countywide dispatch protocol and over 4,000 hours combined fire and EMS training. As we begin 2021, we look forward to getting back to our public education and outreach. I also plan to work on replacing one of our ambulances and get a design specification to order a replacement ladder truck. We will also conduct a needs assessments for our fire station's design in the March Point annexation area, and we will re-implement commercial business fire safety inspections. The City Council and I are committed to providing for the future needs of this department. This is one of my primary focuses moving into this year. We will look for grant and loan opportunities to support the needs expressed in the Capital Facilities Plan and look forward to supporting the staff of this department in their service to the community. Who would have ever imagined that we would have a Zoom court? Our Anacortes Municipal Court did it in an efficient, safe manner. We had a big success in 2020, and that was our community court, a non-traditional system that works to address the root cause, giving rise to criminal behavior, to address crimes of poverty, mental health, and substance abuse by linking defendants to services and resources at the first court hearing to address the issue leading to the behavior. We are proud to have our Public Defender's Office that provides professional, effective, and quality legal representation of our indigent defendants. They have seamlessly pivoted to a virtual environment. Our Anacortes Public Defender's Office has been recognized by Skagit County as providing efficient, effective defense in this new environment. Public Works is the city's largest department and represents approximately 1/3 of the city staff. Thanks to the hard work of the Public Works team, Anacortes was recognized on a national and international scale. They expertly manage the construction and the maintenance of streets, sidewalks, signs, our water, sewer, and stormwater lines, the production and distribution of water throughout our region, purchasing and maintaining the city's vehicle fleet, the maintenance, the repair, and the construction of our city-owned buildings. They also provide our resource conservation. All city buildings will have a carbon-neutral wind energy, and management of all activities within the public right-of-way, ranging from street vacations to parades. We are doing things that are cutting edge and using the out-of-the-box thinking to get things done. Public Works prides itself on its adaptivity, innovation, and climate-conscious work. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, the City of Anacortes Public Works Department continues to provide the best public service work. Safe and reliable drinking water, collection of trash, recycling, composting, wastewater processing, maintaining and improving our street system, and providing street cleaning. The Oaks Avenue, Highway 20 Spur, and Ship Harbor Boulevard Glasgow Way project was completed, which included a stamped brick pavement, pedestrian and bicycle safety feature, and a landscape center, more commonly known as a really cool roundabout. Public Works also has continued its annual plan to slurry seal neighborhood streets. We're also going to do the installation of a new 8-inch water main and fire hydrants for Fidalgo Bay Road from 35th and V Avenue to the intersection of Mansfield Court. Public Works Department is working on the new 2 million gallon water tank called a Clear Well under construction at the water treatment plant. The raw water line will eliminate a single point of failure in our system, providing the city with a second redundant link between the water intake pump on the Skagit River over to the water treatment plant. The new Clear Well was planned from the conception of the new plant in 2013. It will give the city greater chlorine content time, resulting in a higher quality water. The city was also gained the ability to perform maintenance of the Clearwell system without taking the plant offline. Both projects provide redundancy in the system and stability in the city's infrastructure. The new raw water line, I must say, is one of the biggest construction projects west of the Mississippi. The photos here show the new water line intake pipe being pulled under the Skagit River, and this technique is called horizontal direct drilling. This new pipe is also being installed for redundancy. However, this will be for transporting river water, the raw water, to the plant. My ongoing priority is to take care of our streets, and in our 2021 pavement restoration program, roadway improvements continue. Projects will address safety concerns at 12th and Commercial and 32nd and M Avenue. Estimates for the 12th and Commercial project are currently at $3.3 million, and the 32nd and M project is at $1.3 million. Both projects will be paid for a combination of grants and local dollars. We just received a $1 million grant to help fund the 32nd and M project. And another priority for 2021 is the wastewater treatment plant outfall. This project is budgeted at $20 million, and we believe will receive the majority of our funding from FEMA. The Information Technology Department has played a pivotal role in keeping the city's business moving forward as many staff transition to working remotely. Their adaptability, resilience, and professionalism are not often seen by the public. The behind-the-scenes work of this department is crucial to our success. In 2020, the city began participating in a 24/7, 365 days a year managed detection and response system. We transitioned to Microsoft 365 and are refreshing our server infrastructure with replication and new clusters. And we were instrumental on transitioning over 50 employees to work from home, allowing city business continue uninterrupted. The City Attorney's Office represents the city in all legal matters and provides in-house counsel to city leaders and staff. In 2020, we saw an increase in contracts processed through the City Contracts Program for a total of 290 new contracts, 78 modifications, and 11 procurement processes. The city responded to 131 public records requests in 2020 and processed 23 claims. The city prosecutor represents the city and did so in 709 matters in the Anacortes Municipal Court in 2020. Additionally, the department added nearly 115,000 records to its record repository and automated many key city processes. In 2020, the legal staff helped the city navigate challenges posed by COVID and worked through 2 MACA sites and prevailed on local land use appeals of a SEPA determination update and in various sections of the city code, and supported the expansion and the development of the city's fiber system. We are continuing the implementation of the city's transition to Laserfish for enterprise content management, with the emphasis on making forms and processes available to the public. This allows the public to access key city functions. If you could think about Laserfish as being a file cabinet where you keep all your documents, but now we do it in a remote way that you can access what we have here at City Hall. Additionally, the city's attorney's office will evaluate and build on city processes for responding to public records requests to promote more transparency. The Human Resources Department supports and encourages employment practices that allow our employees to best serve the Anacortes community. We recruit, retain, and motivate high-caliber employees who help shape the future of our community. We currently have 244 employees, including council members, and in addition to that, we have 92 student recreation assistants. In 2020, the Human Resource Department implemented the Families First Coronavirus Response Act and assisted supervisors and employees on how to navigate leave during the COVID-19 pandemic. They developed and implemented a new performance evaluation process and implemented de-escalation training, giving staff the tools to turn a negative situation into a positive interaction. The Safety Committee did a total revamp of the Accident Prevention Manual, and 3 employees were awarded the Safety Star Recognition Program. We also received the Well City Award in 2020. In 2021, we'll be recruiting and hiring a Human Resource and Labor Relations Director. We will continue to implement COVID policies as they change throughout the year and maintain our programs encouraging a safer workplace. In Anacortes, we have many opportunities for community and cultural enrichment, from our library to the museum to our beautiful parks and forest lands. In 2020, the city made it a priority to assure the public maintain access to these enrichment opportunities. That is why when the library closed in mid-March, the method of service delivery adapted and changed, but the core services and the mission of empowering lifelong discovery to the community remained. Services never lagged, as staff quickly mobilized to launch a comprehensive virtual programming for all ages. They also work to support a skyrocketing digital resources demand. They provided timely and relevant support and created a whole new service model in curbside delivery. Many people do not realize what goes on behind the scenes to make this happen. I want to acknowledge the extra work and planning and teamwork that went into making curbside delivery for our community. Curbside deliveries, over 8,000 of them, and total checkouts, over 25,000 books. The curbside pickup model has been one of the many ways the library has worked to ensure collaboration with the Anacortes School District that supports distant learning. We introduced STEAM kits, that's like STEM with the arts, and take and make kits to support at-home learning. We created personalized picks and services for pre-readers and elementary readers to support the families. The Anacortes Public Library continues to be a community hub, providing diverse and equitable resources and programming to the public to ensure its mission of empowering a lifetime of discovery and learning. In 2020, we focused on providing literacy tools and classes for all ages, including early learning programs for families, continuing literacy engagement programs for youth, and supplemental and foundational materials for adults. The ongoing partnership with our Anacortes School District has grown this year. Thanks to the Anacortes Public Library Foundation, all students now have access to everything, including Hoopla's on-demand platform. Our summer reading programs were entirely virtual, and overall in 2020, we have over 200 virtual programs that have been viewed over 70,000 times. So as we move into this year, we will focus on customer service. We will continue to build collaboration, strengthening our community relationships. This year, digital programs and digital item checkout has been increasing the need for technical support, including the social media and website staff support. This was to answer queries and troubleshoot. We expect that to continue into 2021. Thank you to the Friends of the Anacortes Public Library, the local Noon Kiwanis Group, the Library Foundation, the Maxim Family Donation, the school district, and other community groups and partners who have stepped in to help support our library in 2020. Like most of us, library staff have had to adapt to incredible changes brought on by the pandemic. I am so proud how they have adapted to innovating support for the community that they serve. The crisis in 2020 jump-started a lot of reluctant users to learn to use digital services and the library. And the library will continue to support and expand these services alongside traditional in-person services. We look forward to reopening the library facilities in 2021. We will focus on integrating both digital and in-person services in a hybrid model that is sustainable so that we can focus on providing equitable access for all our users. The Anacortes Museum manages 3 facilities: our Carnegie Building, which houses the Anacortes Museum Gallery and offices and collections, the Maritime Heritage Center, and the W.T. Preston Snagboat. While the doors have been closed for most of 2020, the museum staff has been very busy on collections, exhibits, and interpretation projects. Increasingly, the online database catalogs tens of thousands of museum artifacts and virtual public access to museum collections. Staff has been busy integrating the Bill Mitchell murals into our museum collection, planning for mural stewardship and creating interpretive projects like a brochure or podcast or a smartphone mural tour. We're entering the W.T. Preston artifacts into the museum database also, and we've prepared an oral history and transcripts and recordings and posting archival Anacortes history films, and the museum has made documentaries for you to watch on YouTube. I meet with the directors weekly, and I decided to visit Museum Director Brett Lunsford at our Carnegie Gallery to talk about 2021. In 2021, we are planning many exciting ways to engage with the museum. A new exhibit at the Carnegie Gallery on the photographers in Anacortes history. And at the Maritime Heritage Center, we'll open with an exhibit showing why Anacortes was once the salmon canning capital of the world, with a focus on diversity of the workforce in the local seafood processing industry. We're reviewing updates on outdoor interpretive history signs and collaborating with other city departments, the Samish Indian Nation, the Port of Anacortes, and other community stakeholders on these upcoming signs. The major goal in 2021 is reconnection. We will continue to prepare for reopening of our facilities with community engagement. We cannot wait to see our visitors and our volunteers again. The Park and Recreation Department manages our city parks and our trails, the Anacortes Community Forest Lands, our Senior Activity Center, Grandview Cemetery, and they offer recreation programs, leagues, and events for all ages. They also operate the campground and the boat launch at Washington Park and maintain the grounds at all our city facilities. In 2020, there was at least a 15% increase in park and trail use, caused us to dedicate more resources to sanitation and COVID education. We're fortunate to live in a place that has beautiful, accessible trails and to enjoy outdoors in a safe, physically distant way. It is one of my top priorities to meet the needs of our youth in Anacortes by providing opportunities to be outdoors and to be active safely. We worked in collaboration with the Anacortes School District and the library to create Camp Active. Kids could come and be active and play and then participate in an outdoor story with library staff. Our Parks and Recreation Department also created soccer pods with 27 total participants, which is another way we created a safe, fun opportunities for kids to be active. This spring, we will have a brand new Depot Plaza restroom. This work began in 2020 and will be complete in the spring of 2021. We also have been working on Grandview Cemetery, and it's going to be expanded by 4 acres. This first phase of construction will be complete in 2021. We have 80 full burial sites currently available, but upon completion of this project, we'll have another 2,000 additional lots. Our Parks Department is also working on the impact fee update. In 2020, we saw installation of the Washington Park boat launch, the completion of the first phase of the Washington Park campground utility upgrade, and the Loop C utility upgrade at the park. In 2021, we'll focus on Loop A campground's utility upgrade at Washington Park. I'm proud of how our Parks Department strives to be excellent stewards of natural resources and provide recreational opportunities for our youth and our adults in our community. We are so grateful to an anonymous local donor who helped get our senior center a new roof. In 2021, we will continue to offer virtual and in-person programs, and we will be hiring a new administrator for the center once normal activities can begin. Our virtual programs have included Zoom cooking classes with Chef Jackie, virtual bridge games, aging and spiritual wellness virtual meetings, cultural pearls, a knitting club, and coffee with Carl. And I also look forward to hosting my monthly virtual coffees at the Senior Center in 2021. Our city is made up of 11 departments run by 11 directors, and I want to thank each director for their time and their energy. They're experts in their fields and leaders in their departments, and they've stepped up to support this community. The council is our legislative body, responsible for vision, policy, laws, and our budget. I want to acknowledge the service of these members of our community: Ryan Walters, Christine Cleland McGrath, Jeremy Carter, Matt Miller, Bruce McDougall, Carolyn Moulton, and Anthony Young. At this time, I want to recognize the outstanding members of our community and the organizations that have been our champions, our advocate, and have connected us. Charles Hall at Island Hospital has been one of those champions for health and the well-being of our citizens of Anacortes, and has led the charge on taking on COVID. And now, taking on vaccines. Dr. Irish, the superintendent of the Anacortes School District, has shown leadership and communication in supporting our youth. We have partnered with the school district to provide safe, socially distanced programs for our students. He is building collaboration and strengthening the connections in our community. The Anacortes Family Center, who has been a key partner with the city in helping those most in need. Our food banks, our churches, and those supporting the needy in our community. They have continued success of our city and our future's prosperity, and we depend on our ability to support the neediest in our community. The city and the Port of Anacortes and Economic Development Alliance of Skagit County continue to support growing existing maritime businesses while providing infrastructure, technology, and workforce development opportunities. We continue to support our maritime tradition and culture. In 2021, we will focus our energy on clean tech, ferry initiatives, providing the infrastructure for growth and success. I'm an advocate, and I've cultivated partnerships at the county, state level, and the national and international level to spread awareness to our Center of Innovation and Maritime Excellence. One of my highest priorities is keeping you all engaged and informed. More than ever during this ongoing pandemic, we're reaching out and letting you know that we're here for you. We built our COVID-19 information page on the city's website. We did nearly 30 weekly mayor briefings in 2020, keeping you up to date on the COVID-19 related news and updates, and will continue to update you monthly as the vaccine rollout progresses. We produced our COVID-19 Special Edition A-Town and are continuously looking for ways to connect with you. I want to welcome every citizen to join our work at the city by attending a city council meeting, virtually for now and in person soon, serving on a board or commission, or attending one of my monthly coffee events. Thank you for being here today with me. This year has taught us so many lessons as we've navigated the COVID-19 pandemic. We've responded and found we're resilient. And now we're in the recovery phase, which I know will take much of 2021. I saw fear this year, but I also saw innovation and solutions to how we can live and work safely. Kindness to our neighbors, our friends, and our family have gotten us through the worst days and has sustained us. At the city, we adapted in ways of delivering services and many times exceeded what we intended on accomplishing in non-COVID years. We provided financial resources to our business community and to citizens in need of rental assistance. We improved and we strengthened our communication and collaboration locally and across the region and at the state level. Leaders at all levels came together to support each entity being successful in their messaging and providing services. Our county mayors, our county commissioners, and the health department collaborated to support our health providers, our schools, and our first responders and our frontline workers. These times have tested our human spirit and our resolve. Every time I thought we couldn't take one more thing, we did. And we are strong, and we're an innovative community that cares, and we're stronger than we've ever known. At the city, we're committed to every citizen, and we'll provide and excel at delivery of all our essential services. Thank you all for what you've done this year. It's been my honor to serve you as your mayor.